Alrighty, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Last few videos up at Clear Lake. Had a decent tournament if you watched those. And now we are back, I'm sure you guys guessed it, on the California Delta. Like we've always mentioned, on the California Delta, it can be hit or miss, especially on the kayak. But one thing I do know, and something that I've been doing a lot more this year, is planning my trips and locations based on the tide. Today we're starting at a pretty high tide and we're dropping all morning. I know people have certain preferences for tides, but in general, that's the tide I like to fish. Outgoing tides, water's dropping, you know, stuff from the bank, the crawfish, the bait, the minnows, the bluegill, everything's kind of fleeing the bank. They're dropping with the water, and that's a perfect opportunity for those bass to ambush. We are going to spice things up again. A lot of you guys like when I weigh my fish, so that's what we're gonna do today. See what we can get for a best 5 fish weight limit. I've got all my rods here. I'm not sure exactly what these fish are doing. It's definitely fall, it's cooler, nights are longer, so we'll see. Either way, gonna unload the kayak, get on the water, and see what kind of damage we can do today. The fun part. Shit is a drop. Hate the drop. There's a fish right there. That's a good little start. Good old Delta jig. This thing is like bass candy, I swear to God. Hey, it's a keeper. Give him weight. Keep ourselves honest. Get that 5. I'm not gonna toss any back. Get cocky. Sometimes on the Deltas, getting 5 keepers is a feat in and of itself. 1.6. All right, 1.6. Jig bites on. Not a bad one. Gotta let it soak sometimes. God, I feel like I'm cheating with this jig. Just like they eat it. They eat it so good. And this one definitely has a little more meat on him. A little more meat. It's gotta be a 2.5. 2.5. Say the jig bites on. It's definitely one of the few times, and I say few because I've done it before, where I've created a bait combination and it looks good, but it also works. This one looks good and it freaking works. Both these fish have been just kind of letting the jig soak too, just making a cast, letting it sit. I mean, we got a moving tide. You don't have to impart action. That current's giving that bait action. And that subtlety can be, I think, key in getting those fish to just come up and pick it up and eat it. Other than the tide, the other reason we came here was because it's the fall, and I knew this area had some pretty good wood. Fall jig fishing around wood is one technique I will say I'm comfortable with. If they're biting it, it can be a lot of fun, and so far, it appears they are biting the jig. Bite right there. Right, is that a bite? Yeah, it is bite. There's a fish. Oh, God. They're so munching this jig. I almost feel like I'm using a live crawfish. Oh, he took, I didn't even realize it, he took the balls off. Like, look, the little bulbous sections. Stinkers. You know what I'm saying? Those fish bit off these little bulby parts right here. It's okay, we got a lot of these trailers to run through if we need to. There we go. Little dude. Yeah, I don't think that one's gonna keep. Right on that wood though. Alright guys, we kind of dinked around here in the marina, so let's go out into the main river, see if we can find some fish out there. Dude, that was a fish. I'm telling you right now, that's a fish. Just got bit. Bass followed it right out. They are here. Holy smokes. I knew they had to be. Decent one, little 2-pounder. Just made sense. They just gave themselves up. Gave away all of his buddies. We're going to catch him on this stretch right here. Thank you, sir. Golly. Not a giant, but a fun fish to catch. It's got some meat to him, too. I'd say that's keeper number 3. Not a big one, but hey, like I said, we're going to weigh them all today. 1, 2. Thank you, sir. All right. I'm pretty sure we're gonna keep going with this jig, but I gotta try one thing for sure before we keep throwing that jig more. Try a little red square bill crankbait. A lot of you guys have asked if, you know, why don't I throw more like crankbaits and stuff. I mean, I'd like to, but dude, it can be, for me at least, it can be really tough just because there's so much grass. They just get hung up on weeds and algae a lot, so it's really hard to fish them unless it's, you know, early spring, but it's kind of what I figured would happen. We'd get all this vegetation hung up on it, but you know, if we find clean bank, I think this could be a really good bait. Look at that. Okay. So it does catch fish. It's a fat one. Kind of the only place I can fish it right now is right up against the bank because that's where there's actually clean rock. You know what I mean? Like right up against the bank is the only area that is clean. Kind of wish I came here a little earlier when the tide was, you can see the tide where it started at and about 2.5, 3 feet higher. We could fish all this with a square bill, but now since it's dropping, like I said, just can't really present it too well. Yeah, we can catch little ones all day on this. Ooh. Well, there's definitely some little fish up shallow. Seems like a crawfish pattern right here. So funny how certain baits just get them to bite. Man. Found the little fish pattern, that's for sure. Yeah, the only thing that's going to keep me from throwing the square bill right now is just the size. Catching these dinks, I think the jig will probably catch the bigger ones, but who knows? Not a bad day so far. They're definitely biting, you know? Dude, first catch. Okay, it's a crankbait deal. It's a little bit better one, too. I wonder if that'll keep. I don't know. I don't think that one will actually keep. That'd be a line burner. It's funny. Dude, I like this crankbait because it suspends, or it slowly rises. I just made a cast kind of towards the middle, bringing it back and let it sit. I saw like a bunch of dinks and some bluegill just following it in. I mean, I've said this before, but I've noticed when a certain bait or pattern works, like a popper, like all the fish will chase it. Like the small bass, the bluegill, when they're just dialed in on a bait, it's like everything is eating the same thing. I guess maybe like little crawfish or something, but I can say for a fact this is a bait they really want right now, as you can see. That's, I don't even know what to say. That's a really small fish. Be a pet. Oh my gosh. Got him. Yeah, the crankbait is just what they're biting. Oh, dang it, that was a keeper too. Maybe we'll just play the numbers game and try to catch as many as we can and hopefully run into a big one. Still not the right size. Thanks. It's a better one. Yeah, it's got to be a keeper. Yeah. He's another line burner. Looked like a keeper. All right, for all you guys that say never catch him or throw a crankbait, well, that's true, but finally a video where I'm actually catching some on a crankbait. I'm sure it's a deadly technique when they're biting it, like today. I mean, you run across the right stretch of fish, too. Yeah, we might. That seems gotta be a keeper. That's gotta be a keeper. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a good one. That's a keeper. That one's got some meat to it. I mean, yeah, that's barely 12, but I bet you she's a pound and a half. 1.5. It's got the belly. Is that 4? One more for a limit. Okay. I don't want to look because I'm scared, but I think I have to look real quick. Did I bring another one just in case I break off? Yes, I did. Thank you, sir. There we go. Oh, dang. And shake off, sir. Little ones are a pain. That one's kind of fat, but he's borderline scupper. Think he'll fit? Oh, he did fit. There we go. That was on a pause. I think it's keeper number 5. Another chunk. Nice delta chunk. Alright, there's our limit. And that's a nice thing to have, weight off the shoulders, because again, man, delta's a great fishery, but it can also be skunk city. I'm sure all you guys know that if you fish the delta, so I am just happy to have 5 right now. 1.6, alrighty. Number 5. It's a pretty small limit, but it is a limit. As always, just never know what they're going to be biting. I brought like 6, 7 rods with me today. Red crankbait is the guy so far. Come on. Okay. Come on, dude. Oh. Hey, first call of the day, maybe? Yeah. line burner. I'll tell you what, these hooks, just like that LV500 I was telling you about, these hooks freaking stick them. This is the first year I've religiously have changed my hooks out from some of the stock hooks on these baits, and it makes a big difference. You can tell because they're hard to, they just get stuck. God. Well, they're still biting the little crank, but I'm kind of running out of water just because that tide's getting so low. That's a dang shame. I don't know what that was. It was either a monster bass or like a salmon or something just sitting there. Holy frick, that was huge. What was that? I think he was a bass. Got hung up. There's a bass trying to eat my stuck crankbait. Where is it? I don't want to lose this crankbait. No. Oh, thank you. Best investment ever right here. Little plug knocker. Pays for itself after one trip of use. Okay, holy smokes, there's a ton of bass right here. What are you guys gonna bite though? That's the question. Some of these look like they should have some fish. See that one come right out and looked at it. It wasn't a giant, but still, maybe they're gonna eat the frog. There's a good one. Alright, that's gonna help our cause. Man, probably should fish this marina the whole time. Interesting. It's gotta be close to 3. Jeez, it took forever to cull a fish. 210. Gosh, I guess we gotta just keep fishing the jig around here. I'm lucky I put the hook in that fish. The drag was way loose. Oh, little guy came out and got it. I wonder. There we go. Ooh, that had to work, right? We've been on the small ones, and jig's definitely getting the bigger ones today. That's no question. But crankbait is getting bit. Jeez. Another little dude had it. Another little dude had it. There we go. Well, if you want to get bit, you throw the crankbait. There we go. Yeah, there's a bunch of them in here. A lot of small ones, though. Even out on the river, I went out on the river and I was just catching tiny, tiny fish. Oh. That's a good one. I finally got a better one. Yeah, buddy, the jig is catching the biggins. Get a weight on that one. That's a nice one. Well, kind of nice. Kind of nasty, too. Yeah, 2.7, 2.5. With some nastiness on them. It's been the story of the day, though, today. We can catch fish all day on that crankbait, but that jig is getting our better ones. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't think he would have helped. Alrighty, folks, interesting day on the water. I don't know what we had for our best five, maybe like 10 pounds. You guys saw it, today was the day of the dinks. You know what, I'll take it. Catching fish all day long, pretty fun, or for the most part. We did have like an afternoon lull when the tide changed. It seemed like as soon as the tide started moving one way or the other, the bite turned on. And here are the two baits that did our damage today. And it was interesting because we threw everything at them. We threw chatterbaits, drop shots, we tried some topwater, and these two were clearly the baits of choice for today. Hard to beat this bait right now and anytime on the Delta. Just a big old jig. We've been favoring this combo lately, this color. That's what caught all of our better fish today. But if we wanted to get a bite, it seemed like at one point it was almost every other cast we were getting either a bite or a follower. A bait that I actually have not thrown in a long time is a shallow crankbait. And this is the Spro Little John. When that tide was high enough, we could get right up against that bank, throw this right up against those rocks, and it's just getting bit. Another day on the Delta, we're gonna mix it up again. Next trip will actually be the final tournament of 2020 for us. The TOC for Yakabass. It is at a lake that I absolutely love hanging out with friends at and camping, but I hate fishing it. You know, it's not a bad fishery. It has actually giant fish in it, but for whatever reason, and I'm gonna just throw a number out there. I think I've fished this lake maybe 30 times. I don't think I've caught a fish over 4 pounds there. It is Lake Comanche, as you guys probably know. And I've certainly never done well in a tournament there. We've been there maybe 5 or 6 times in the past. So that is today's video. As always, thank you guys for coming along, for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video up at Lake Comanche. See ya.